Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so my channel took an odd turn a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago or so. The Device, Reg's watches. I took a dive in the shit pit. I'm out. I'm shaking myself off. I've showered. Yeah, perhaps I should have carried out that little experiment in private. Maybe like Archie eating a tub of ice cream. It's something that the world didn't need to see. But I have learned from it. That is for sure. I've learned from it. What have I learned? Well, strangely enough, the device taught me to appreciate a Rolex. But let me explain what exactly the angle of appreciation is. I fought to get that watch wearable. I felt like I fought with it for 2 days just to get it to work for me. And mechanical watches, well, they're finicky. That's part of the draw to them. Each one has its own personality. This particular GMT, I could pick up another Pepsi, but I know the way this movement works, and I know what kind of time it keeps. And even another GMT Master 2 Pepsi would have a different character to it, a different feel, and part of it's that movement. I mean, the movement of my Explorer 2 is identical to the movement in this GMT Master 2, but they are different. The GMT is more accurate, and the Explorer 2 is faster. It's like a different personality. It's a different character to it, and that's just not the aesthetics and the differences there. So while that is a draw of mechanical watches, it's also one of the downsides, of course, because unlike a quartz, it's not going to keep time as accurately. And that's where Rolex really shines. I mean, to give a warranty after a service for the accuracy is really something. That's really something for Rolex to say it's going to run COSC standards for the next 2 years, and we'll take care of it if it doesn't. That's amazing. It's amazing that they do that, and it's amazing that they can do that. And it makes me wonder how many other watches and watch brands and service centers do that. Omega, I don't know. Let me know. I mean, does Omega, do they have any sort of warranty or guarantee as far as their watches, as far as the watch's accuracy is concerned? That's pretty amazing. What the device taught me is how often, when it comes to a mechanical watch, you need to fight with it and regulate it and fuss over it. Let's talk about a Vostok, because a Vostok, I think, is a step up from a device. But, worst case scenario, you're going to have to, well, there's no worst case scenario because things can get pretty bad when you're talking a Vostok. But best case scenario, you're probably going to have to regulate it once a week. Okay, it's going to be temperamental. As temperatures change as the wrist positioning changes, the consistency is going to be all over the place, very likely. And you can regulate it yourself and you can get it to COSC, but will it stay there? That's the question. And will it be consistent like a Rolex? And I would say probably not. You probably couldn't expect it. And at least once a week, you're going to have to reset it and you're going to have to tweak it. And that's the wonderful thing about a Rolex. That's the appreciation that the device gave me. The fact that once you're done fussing over your Rolex and once you're done checking the accuracy and fussing over the accuracy and just fussing over the watch, you can just forget it and wear it. You can do that. You know, we love to fuss over our watches, but after a week of doing it, you know, priorities change and we get busy and we have other things to do, and there comes a time when sort of enough is enough and you just need to put on the watch and carry on with your daily life. And that right there is where Rolex really shines. You can set them and forget about them, and you don't need to baby them and tweak them and fuss over them. They can take care of themselves and they can take care of you without you resetting them once a week. So that's something I really appreciate. Now, as watch people, fussing over a watch is fun, but I think that's a big reason why a non-watch person could really appreciate a Rolex. You know, a non-watch person doesn't want to fuss over a watch. They want to set it and they want to forget about it and they want it to work for them. And that really couldn't happen with a Vostok, okay? I couldn't give my dad a Vostok. It would annoy him. It would not perform in a way that would make his current Raymond wheel quartz anything but more desirable. And a Vostok would wind up in a drawer pretty fast. But a Rolex wouldn't. A Rolex could keep up. A Rolex could satisfy someone like my dad, who's not a watch person, enough to where it wouldn't wind up in the drawer. Now, as watch people, we know that mechanical watches are not as accurate as quartz, and so I think we're more forgiving. But it is nice when you're ready to carry on with your life and put down horology and just live your life. It's nice that the Rolex can keep up and it can do what a watch is supposed to do, be dependable and consistent. And there's so many watches and mechanical watches that are good, yet you can't quite say that to the same extent. I mean, many lower price Seikos, kind of hit or miss. I know my Vostoks, I always had reservations about counting on them. And, you know, right out of the box, they're, in my opinion, for the regular person, kind of unusable. You really have to get in there and tweak a Vostok. And the Vostok's low cost makes that proposition not a threatening one. You know, you talk about a $500 mechanical watch. I don't know if I'd want to crack open the back. I mean, I wouldn't feel as comfortable. Something could go wrong, and that's $500 down the drain. So Vostok is cheap enough to where I could do that. But you have to do it with a Vostok, in my opinion. Whereas a $500, $1,000 watch, you kind of should do that perhaps, because I don't think you can count on the accuracy out of the box, but it's going to be something that's, you know, a little bit more dangerous because, you know, getting in the back of a watch, it's, you know, there's a risk. There's always a risk. So you could always take a watch like that to a, you know, watchmaker, but again, that's something you don't have to worry about with a Rolex. Thank you for to Device, my deceased Device, for teaching me that you know, fussing over watches all kind of fun and whatnot. But when it comes down to it, and you want to get on with your life, there's nothing like a Rolex. Take care. See you next time.